All right, hi guys. So here's a really simple exercise you can do yourself. That's basically the um, non-tech way that heart rate variability helps produce this. So you, being an M1, you saw my videos and discussion about heart rate variability and coherence and the devices of heart math, which are available on my store. Um, and I highly recommend you have them. I have about 4 or 5 devices. Every single patient on almost every single visit was required to do a 10-minute heart rate variability biofeedback session. This is a way you can create that heart coherence anywhere, anytime, any place without the tech device. What the tech device allows you to do is actually get feedback to see how effective you actually are at doing it. And you don't really know without the feedback telling you the truth. It's like you don't really know what you weigh unless you step on a scale. You don't really know your body fat composition unless you get a scan and a reading. You can guess and you can have an intuitive sense, but you don't really know. Okay. So I do like using heart rate variability, which is a measurement of coherence of your heart on biometric devices, Garmin watches, Aura rings, things of that nature that are the ones that are accurate. Many are not, because it shows the parasympathetic nervous system's vagal tone or dominance or not. And it helps guide the kind of decisions. It will let you know if a supplement's working for you or not working for you. It'll let you know if you've gotten enough sleep or not gotten enough sleep. It'll let you know if you should exercise that day or you should not. But you can't guess on that. That is a metric we can track. And HeartMath, M-Wave, helps you measure it and helps you improve it and lets you get direct feedback at how you're doing. But this is just kind of a basic ancient way of doing it with has 4 specific steps I'm going to suggest, because you can do this again several times a day when you start noticing if you feel like you're coming out of coherence, coming out of your heart. But why does that matter? Why does this brain need the heart? Well, there's a brain inside your heart. There's roughly 40,000 cells that are inside your heart that we kind of refer to as the little brain. This is not, this is real physical cells. They're called sensory neurites. They're separate from the brain, but these are kind of brain cells, the neurites. They're neurons. We just call them neurites. They sense information. They are controlling the heart independently of the brain. They learn and remember independent of the brain. They communicate via entirely separate pathways from the brain. So the heart has its own language. The last lecture, I went through code and language and how code, words, and language structure the brain. Well, the heart has its own code because it has its own language, because it has its own neurons, its own brain. We don't actually know it. We don't know that language. We don't know if it's the same language that the brain is speaking or if it's a completely different one. So fascinating information to learn and expand. But what we do know is that if we can get the two brains to work together in harmony, like I suggested in the harmonizing the masculine and the feminine, that the masculine doesn't dominate the feminine, but it's best if it harmonizes to make feminine energy be able to actually create and manifest in the world. In that video, right, about visualization and the Bible and the Gnostic texts, the subconscious of your brain, right, needs to understand the language of your words and the affirmations and mantras that I've suggested you write and repeat to rewrite the scripts in your subconscious in 3R. Well, as we've come along in the M1 journey and I introduced more Psych K, and now in M2, we've introduced code language and we introduced reunion. We are looking at how do we rewrite code language scripts that are in your subconscious brain, as well as potentially this subconscious or conscious brain within your heart, a second brain, right? So this is why all of these things matter and how we can get some hiccups in our development. So the process of allowing your heart coherence to bring your heart into that coherent state at any moment, it alters major biochemistry and your genetic code. It activates longevity codes. It activates your immune system. You have an immune response of immunoglobulin A that will last for 6 hours. It makes you bulletproof in your immune system. This little exercise, again, activates longevity genes. It has an epigenetic effect to make you younger, reverse aging. At least 1,300 biochemical reactions are stimulated and upgraded during this. It's incorporating the HRV, heart rate variability, which I taught you, and you can purchase the M-Wave. I think that's, if there's one device I would suggest that you purchase through this course, it would be a HeartMath device, an M-Wave. Box breathing I taught in 3R, and I also put it in the immune course because it's that important. It incorporates mindfulness. It incorporates understanding the veil that's inside your throat chakra that we cleared in immunology, right? Because I talked about immunoglobulin A. So the main things we need to understand overall with this is that you have to create safety in the brain with body position, with awareness, breath, and add feelings that are going to alter your physiology. Bonus points of effectiveness if you can do this outside, sitting on the earth against a natural structure like a tree or a mountain. So there's critical, like 4 key steps and 4 key emotions. So it's a 4x4 process that it's very, very simple. And you can take yourself through this as kind of a self meditation at any time. And it doesn't take long, you guys. No excuse. It takes 0 time. All right, so this 4x4 kind of process, you need to get your back against a wall of some sort, a tree, a mountain, I don't care, even another person. So you and a friend or a partner can sit back to back. But what does that do? That's a safety signal to your body and brain. Okay, someone has your back, right? It's a common phrase. You need a physical barrier. Your whole brain can relax differently when it knows someone cannot come up from behind. Number 2, you need to actually put a hand on your heart. You can put a finger there, you can put open palm, you can put both. But if you look through all of the religions and traditions, yoga, you will see positions. They're constantly creating some type of motion to put a hand on the heart to touch it, because it brings the awareness very physically to that space. It matters. We have to redirect your mind from its desire to stay in its left brain cognition and bring it down to the brain inside your heart. You just need to touch it, put a hand there. Number 3, you need to slow your breathing. Consciously slow the breathing. If you can do a 5-second inhale and a 5-second exhale, that type of slowed breathing brings you into the parasympathetic nervous system. The only time you breathe that way, and research shows that 5.5 might be the perfect optimal reset breath, but so go in the box breathing video. I talk about 4. 5 is a better number if you can do it, but do what you can. You don't need to hold it. You just breathe in for 5, out for 5. Very comfortable nasal breathing only. The only time you breathe this way is when you're relaxed and safe. This is another signal of safety. The brain must believe it's safe through parasympathetic breathing, through positioning, to allow this to occur, to allow the heart to take over, because it needs to know it's safe. Then the big important part is you need to, once you're feeling in your heart where you're touching and your breathing is passing through this heart, right? These 4 feelings are the key to changing the biochemistry and the heart coherence. These emotions that trigger coherence as measured with HRV, that's what we use, and the breath will accelerate the process. You can pick one, you can go through the whole flow. And they kind of go from a beginning to a higher level. And those feelings are care, appreciation, gratitude, and compassion. So depending on your state, you might need to just go for care. Like, what is something or someone that I care about? And Feel into that while you're breathing slowly, back against a wall, touching your heart. Many of you, that's your family, your job, that could be a vacation spot you went to once. It could be your pet, your children, your spouse, anything, your friends, a fun night out that you just had, right? Next emotion would be the next feeling. A little bit of an upgrade from that is appreciation, right? And these are a little bit of a different code. All of them work. Right? Then we have gratitude. Gratitude is a little bit step further than appreciation. And then compassion, which is really, kind of the diamond of this. The more compassion, that's the strongest emotion of the immune system. It is the cure for shame. But so just take yourself through that, any of them, right? So back against a wall, touch your heart, breathe slowly, 5 in and 5 out, and pick one of these emotions, right? That you can that's easy to relax into, and picture something or someone that you can have care or appreciation, gratitude, or compassion for. And do this for a few minutes. 5 minutes is better than 3 minutes. 10 minutes is better than 5 minutes, you guys. But a good 10 minutes of this, you will have a massive biological response that will last at least 6 hours in changing your biochemistry, reversing your aging, stopping damage, building your immune system, and setting you up to have an amazing time in whatever you're going to do for the rest of that day. I hope that is helpful. And we're looking at, again, code language, and this is what it is and how we can incorporate the two brains to work together. Okay,